Welcome, everybody. This is a part two with Ritu. I'm so excited. I interviewed her a couple of weeks ago, and Ritu had so many amazing things to say. And unfortunately, I echoed. For some reason, my settings were not okay, and I echoed through the whole thing. So I'm bringing Ritu Chopra back on, and I'm excited to introduce her. Let me first introduce the show for anybody that's watching that's new. Life on Track. I founded the TV show back in 2022, and through a friend of mine, Clarissa Burt, who I absolutely love. I also met her through Eric Swanson, just like I met you, Ritu. And I did it through her in the Limelight channel all year in 2022, and it was so fun. And the show is based on my number one best-selling book, Work Love, establishing a culture of love in the workforce. Right? Bring the culture of love there also. Because when people love what they do, they love to show up. Productivity goes up. The net bottom line goes up. The health of the people, improve. Like everything improves. So it's really, really cool. Creative Visualization by Shaki Gawain. I found this book in 1991, and it was life-changing for me when I learned the power of meditation and visualization. So that, and also Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The 13 principles in that book are just a blueprint for an amazing life. And of course, one of my other favorites is The Four Agreements. I just love these books. I love the personal development. So cool. All right. So Ritu, let's get into you. Because this show is about helping people get on track, not my track, not your track, the track they were born into this world to be on, right? With your God-given gifts, and everybody's got a God-given gift. And we want to see you express it. We want to see you live to your fullest potential, and that's when life gets to be fun. So I introduced Ritu. I gave the whole intro a couple of weeks ago, but just to familiarize you guys again, Ritu is a technologist, a TV show host, award-winning film producer, certified leadership coach, international speaker, founder of the nonprofit Lead My Way, and so much more. And you are just so brilliant. Welcome to the show again, Ritu.
Oh, thank you. And that's so kind of you for this generous introduction. And I wear many hats, let me say this.
You do. And I can't wait to get into this again with you, because it's all about women leadership, and which is so cool. And even I've discussed, I hosted an event in 2022, October 2022, in person to empower female entrepreneurs to be all you can be and celebrate the men who support us, right? Because women, we put ourselves last, we put ourselves on the back burner. And, I'm changing, you're changing the conversation around that whole thing. So let's get into it. We last time we discussed self-discovery, self-mastery, teams, trust and integrity, self-confidence and assertiveness, self-awareness and mindfulness for stress reduction. And I want to touch upon those again, today, because I want to have everything in this hour, in this interview. And we also want to get into this. Why and how conscious leadership is different. So go ahead, Ritu. Let us know.
Right, so I know I'm in a hot seat today.
Yeah. Well, tell us about you, as how you found out about this, your experiences, what led you, how did you get it? First of all, how did you get into doing this and why? And then let's get into the question.
So just a brief answer to your loaded question, Erin,
I'm full of them.
is that life teaches you so much that you cannot plan ahead. You're thrown into it and you have to figure it out. Swim as fast you can, slow as you can, or just stay afloat. Whatever works for you, given your strength. You build that. As a human race, we are resilient people, right?
Yeah.
We choose. We make our conscious and subconscious choices. We choose to create our future subconsciously, right? If you have really a strong desire to overcome, you will find every way nook and cranny, and um,
Yeah.
the cliches go, just like I can't even think so many of them at the moment. You find that
Yeah.
to stay afloat and come out, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my story as well. There has been uh, so many, so many different situations that I had to deal with, but I had that strength, stamina, and two things that I would say that this similar question has been asked so many times in interviews and talks, etc. And I go back to two strengths that I had: my ambition and sense of humor
Mm.
that carried me through.
Yes. I really believe humor is powerful.
Yes,
Ambition, absolutely, but people underestimate humor. It
yes.
makes people well. It changes lives, you know, it's go ahead.
It's the power of it is that you're able to laugh in the face of
Adversity.
adversities.
Yeah.
You laugh at yourself, you laugh at others. And something else that we spoke last time about my nonprofit, Lead My Way, the black and white colors and the symbol and how that came about. That when you're going through a tough situation, we all do at certain level, right? And we all have our own stamina and strength to deal with it, given the type of situation you are in. So people who can resonate with it is that when you are in a very challenging circumstances, you're kind of so limited to seeing uh, only few things, and vibrant colors could be around, but you're only looking at black and white,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's darkness, right? So and those brightness um, would disappear. So how do we expand ourselves in those dark moments? And that's where you and I, well, in the last time we spoke, we talked about the Mastering Life, the book cover. I just want to show quickly, if I can.
Yes, of course. I love it. I love it.
I think that is visible. So the cover, this one, and the back cover, I believe. So it's the same type of that image of mountain peaks, shiny snow-covered mountain peaks, and just kind of repeating from our last conversation. So if we take that as a goals as peaks, right? To get to one peak, uh, it's a lot of effort, right? So you
Right.
got someplace, and then there's always our mind has already created a new goal.
Mhm.
You're already thinking of something else. But standing at the top of the peak, shiny peak, when you look at the next one, there are dark valleys,
Yes. Yes. That's
right?
where all the lessons are learned. That's where
These,
all the
this
yeah.
is how life is, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But hold
y-
on a second, read too, because that's such a powerful statement. What
Mhm.
you just said, like the because the valley in between the peaks, and the next mountain peak's always higher, but the valley in between the peaks is where all the glory is. It's where all the lessons are learned in this school of life called Earth. You know, it's where literally where all the lessons are learned. If people are open to learning a lesson, you know. But the next mountain peak is always higher as you're going through the valley, as long as they're persistent. I
So,
just wanted to go ahead. It's a
yeah, so
powerful point.
that that valley, if your response is, why me, Lord? Then you see the dark valley, but you could see that that's a way to the next peak.
Right.
So
Right.
that's where we make our choices. And as I mentioned, that my sense of humor was the ability to laugh at myself, laugh at circumstances, and not be defeated by circumstances.
Yes. Yes. Humor, like I told when I was coaching cancer patients back in the 90s, I used to tell them to like watch comedians, like find something every day where you could just have laughter. to be able to, because it's healing on so many levels. And if you don't have a sense of humor in this crazy mixed up world that we're living in these days, you're missing out. You got to surround yourself with people that are uplifting, funny, and having a sense of humor doesn't mean that we have to be funny. Just be able to, like you said, laugh at yourself, laugh at circumstances, be around funny people that literally make you laugh. Go
And
ahead. Go
your
ahead.
mindset, change your mindset,
Yeah.
that you, like you said, you don't have to be funny yourself, or watch a comedian or something that brightens your mood. Is good enough, because that's the change of your emotion is a very strong power,
Right.
to look at the colors around you, so you're not limited to black and white.
Yeah, and it also gives off great hormones, healthy hormones, as opposed to cortisol flying and adrenals draining and all that kind of stuff. So it's very healthy,
It's
you
very
know?
healthy. And you touched upon our last conversation that, we talked about assertiveness and this and that and stuff. And it, you don't wake up and feel assertive all of a
Right.
sudden. It's a practice, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's practice. So anyone who's listening, and you could take classes, read books and things. Books are great. You mentioned Shakti Gawain's. I was just like, going, oh my God. Everything that you showed, I have them. I have them here. I have them here in my bookcases.
I
And
love it.
I read Shakti Gawain, I believe you, uh, 89.
Yeah, okay. I was 91 when I read it.
And
Life
at that
changing.
time, that was the only book on available on visualization.
Mhm.
Not,
And nobody was talking about it.
yes,
Nobody was talking about it.
powerful, right? Because the necessity is mother of invention. When you really want to overcome something, we didn't have 30 years ago internet or social media or chat bots or things at our disposal, so you could just type few keywords and things would pop up. You had to really go after
Yeah.
libraries and things and search in the bookstores, etc. Right? Internet
Yeah. It
came
was
in.
a lot of work. With
Internet
those
came in
index
so
cards in the library. Yeah. It's a lot of work.
a
Yeah.
lot of work, right? Internet came in the mid 90s, so it's before that. So it took effort. So this is the indicator: when you are making an effort, whatever you are seeking, you will find,
Yes. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. It's whatever you're focusing on.
Exactly.
Literally, whatever you're focusing on is not only will you find it, but you are creating it.
You are
So if
creating.
you're focusing on something negative, you're consciously creating
Exactly.
negative things in your future, you know?
Thing would show up for you.
Uh-huh.
And that's how our I'm not an expert on all of human psyches, but I love to understand human behavior, how
Yeah.
we react, the way we react, and things like that. Right now, we are going through a phase of overload of information.
Yeah.
Is it a good information, bad information, misinformation? I don't know.
All of the above, Ritu. Literally all of the above.
A misinformation or a good, for me, could be bad for somebody else. So I don't know. It is how you decide that. But it is so much strain on ourselves with our daily demands of life, to just find the good mentorship.
Yes.
That's where I focused a lot. I came across, I was interested in, very classical literature as growing up. So, uh, given where I found myself left alone to navigate through life all alone and then find meaning, those kind of things really helped me. So I came across um, one quote from a book that is say like, seek mentors and go and ask them how you can support yourself and develop that strength that you need based on the goals you have.
Right.
So you know, looking back at the time, how do you find mentors? Where do you go? We didn't had all these resources of internets and stuff, or so my mentors became those classical books.
Yes, me too. Yeah.
I i
Yeah.
found strength in learning from, seriously, deeply understanding
Yeah.
what was created by these great authors, etc. So I call them, they became my mentors.
Yes. I remember getting reading a book called Full Catastrophe Living by John Kabat-Zinn. And in the back of the book there was a cutout snail mail, for a cassette tape on mindfulness meditation.
Mm,
And I was hooked. In 1991, that's when I learned about meditation from him, John Kabat-Zinn, and Shaki Gawain's visualization, created her book Creative Visualization, and I became unstoppable. But I became a conscious creator in my life. Like I wasn't going to drift anymore. And there's a lot of people drifting in the world today, and you're talking about an overload of stimulation also with things on the news and this and that, and we're just bombarded by all this stimulation. So I'm super conscious about making sure that I don't go there.
yes.
I don't go down the rabbit hole, up the pole, down the pole. I am very, very, I guard my thoughts carefully. I guard what I expose myself to very carefully. And I highly advise everybody watching and listening that you do the same, because you're in control of your own life. You want to be in the driver's seat of your own life. You don't want the news driving your life, and the negativity driving your life. You want to be in your life and in control of your own life. And it's also, we have the gift of choice, and it's what we choose to think, speak, and act is what we will create. That's literally, when you're conscious about what you're thinking, speaking, and acting, you'll create an amazing life for yourself. So let's talk about self mastery a little
Sure.
bit, because
So self
yeah.
mastery is product of my this book, Mastering Life. So mastering life, to me, when I was writing, was going through in a pretty devastating circumstances, and um, just kind of drawn to philosophy. And as I mentioned, that I was seeking out mentors because I came across this code and it became my life goal. And I wanted to turn my situation around. And this just became a intellectual expression in the middle of the very difficult circumstances.
Right.
And this was, you know, the stories, there are endless stories that I could talk for hours, that how coincidences happened. But in a nutshell, the mastering life to me meant, to master any skill, you have to keep practicing on it before you
Yeah.
become expert. So the life itself needs a lot of skills to understand and appreciate life. You have to master those skills, and some of the skills, the perseverance and inner strength, hope, and the
Faith.
forgiveness and compassion, and
Yeah.
all of these wonderful virtues that great masters talk about.
Gratitude.
Adopt. You have to adopt in your life, not just read about them or talk about them. Adopt and live those life, and that takes time.
It does, but it's the best time spent and the best investment that someone can make in their life and in their business. The best time and money spent, because you can't not grow. Once you actually get into what Ritu and I are talking about, and you learn about it and you master it, life gets to be fun. Life, it literally is the game of life. There's a
Yeah.
book by Florence Scovel Shinn that was written in the early 1900s, also called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And it's a great, great book. And people can find it on YouTube also and listen to it for free. But it's a great book. But we have the keys, we have inner power that society will never tell us.
Yeah.
Schools will never teach it. Places of worship won't teach it. Like because we can't be controlled if we're empowered with what you and I know. People can't control us.
And Erin, the part of the self mastery, the other key areas in this book were that before somebody points finger or reprimands us, we can take a look at ourselves. That's self analysis. The self mastery is that to start with ourselves.
Right.
When you feel so confident and assertive about yourself that you are on the right path, you are doing the best in your belief system to help your family or yourself.
Yes.
Um, there is no chance anyone can come and tell you and or
And that you'll care what they say.
your thought process, right?
Right. Right. Right.
So, this self mastery is looking at your personal agenda and
Right.
your strengths. So, it's not in 90 days, 100 days, or 6 months you will become a millionaire, billionaire, or a someone of your dream that you wanted to be. There is a process. Some of
Yeah.
them may take step one, two, three, and keep running. Other might need a stop and take another few steps and then need another stop. Some would need hand holding.
Right.
Everyone has a different strength. So your self mastery is so unique for yourself. I could write the rules, but you still have to assess yourself.
Great point. Great point. And people have to take responsibility and accountability for
Mhm.
everything that's going on in their life. It's not so fun if the part of the work that we're talking about. It may not be fun where you have to take responsibility if something went wrong, or instead of pointing the finger and blaming somebody else, when you start to take responsibility and accountability to every single thing going on in your life, and you live life in gratitude, it's so amazing, it's so good, and then again you're in control. And the one thing that God gave us full control over is what we do with the thoughts that enter our head. It's the only thing that we have control over, and it's the most powerful thing that we could have control over, because that's how we consciously create everything. And we also can never outperform our self-image. So you want to constantly work at increasing and increasing. Somebody might not be able to make seven figures. I actually just wrote a guide on the three obstacles to seven figures, and one of them is self-image. People have to do the work, and like you said, it's not overnight. It takes repetition, 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 and constantly increasing that self-image so more can come to you.
Yes.
And the other thing is they don't have a crystal clear vision for their life. And I get into details. Very important to have a vision for your life.
Oh, that is key.
Mhm.
The clear vision. So, if I may twist a little bit from here, the word from here, the vision and self mastery to self discovery to self mastery. So, when you go through the self discovery in this program, um, there are stages. Like any business stage, you have a business plan, right? You start up to when you launch it, you're going through different phases of it. So when you are at a plateau, when you have arrived to a certain stage, things aren't easy either, because to sustain that, you have a different set of skills that you need now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's where a lot of people fail.
Yes.
Going up is one
Unfortunately.
thing. When you got there,
Right.
stay
Right.
up there is another set of skills. So this self-discovery to self-mastery type of process is from step to step to step. And when you are at that stage of self-mastery, that you have understood fundamentals to creating that persona, inner strength, the assertiveness, the confidence, the self compassion. You understood so much. Then, if challenge comes in, you are capable of dealing with it.
Yes. And let's throw in authenticity because it's my favorite, favorite, favorite thing. Favorite thing. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm fully authentic. Authenticity has 4,000 times a higher vibration than love. That's how important it is that we're supposed to just be fully who we are, not the Erin Lay that my parents want me to be or that my family wants me to be, and my kids and my friends and whoever. It's just me growing into my fullest potential as the best version of me, and without dimming lights because it's not in line with somebody else. People have to realize and start waking up that being authentic, which means there's no BS, there's no lying and gossiping and cheating and all that kind of nonsense. You never have to look over your shoulder because you're living in your fullest potential as the best version of you. And when that happens, like, I'm all about the impression of increase. Like, I want to leave everybody better off for having spent some time with me. Even if it's a stranger passing that looks a little depressed and I smile, I'm like, hey, have a great day, and then they smile. And just, like, the impression of increase. First of all, being authentic is powerful, super important. And that's what we're here to do. But most people through school and through, our parents all mean well and everything else, but we take on the limited beliefs of them. And then we're conforming, 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 conforming. And before people know it, they're so far removed from who they truly are. So your higher self is here, you're way over here, you're feeling anxiety and you're feeling a little depressed and you don't know why, but it's your higher self saying, come back here. Let's just be in alignment. Come back here because your higher self knows exactly where you're supposed to be going. And it will never meet you over here when you're off track. Your higher self is not going off track. Higher self isn't like crazy. So it just gives you signs and feelings and everything else. Come back here. Come back here, for full alignment. Same thing with business owners and business leaders and C-suite and everything else. You want to be in alignment with you because if your words, and let's talk about that too, teams, trust, and integrity. I really believe if your words and your actions are not in alignment, you're out of integrity completely.
Go back to authenticity for just a
Yes.
while. They are not just the words, right? They are
No.
not a definition. To live, to be authentic yourself. If
Right.
you're not authentic yourself within your heart and conscious, you will not be able to expect from anyone else.
Right.
You cannot have those double standards of expecting others to be authentic while you haven't really adopted and living those, uh,
Right.
being authentic yourself, right? It
Right.
takes so much practice. It takes a lot of effort
Because
because we are human beings. We are prone to make mistakes. So we need to adjust ourselves at times,
yes.
and
Yes.
being able to acknowledge to ourselves, it takes a lot of strength when
Yeah.
we violate our own commitments, right? Either intentionally or unintentionally. So to become authentic is a great skill, and it takes a lot of effort at the same time. But I tell you, you talk to anyone who is accomplished, they would say the authenticity is seen, is experienced, is visible to everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's freedom.
It's freedom. You
Yes.
feel you feel sense of power and lightness at
You're
the same time.
Yes, you're free from the 3D. You're free from the 3D because you're just living authentically with you.
Yes.
And that takes, well, it takes a lot of work because you have to break down the limiting beliefs that you have going on, the paradigm, which is a cluster of habits and beliefs stored in the subconscious mind that you don't even know is there, because it's like trying to look at the back of your head. That's why it's great to have a coach. Like, Ritu and I are both coaches, and I have my own life coach, my own business coach, my own health and wellness coach, because I want to just keep growing and getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I'm just getting started at 58. I'm ramping it up. So, and you want to have a coach that has coaches, you
Yes,
know? So,
absolutely.
yes,
Because
yes. But
so let's come back to team trust and integrity. Um, a lot of time when I am talking about my books and I am invited to podcasts and shows, etc. So I, by nature, it's always a we
Yeah,
did this, and said, what do you mean we? I said, it's never one person.
right.
You have a team behind you. You
Yeah,
have editors. If it's a book, you have editors, you have copywriters, you have graphic designers, you have so many people. So their contribution is in it, even if not at all.
absolutely.
So no matter what are you doing in your life, either you are a homemaker, you're still a team.
Right, absolutely. And when people start to realize that, they'll have much better results. Ask yourself, what do your results look like, whether it's in business or you're the CEO of your home? What do your results look like? And if you're not happy with your results, things have to change.
Same
But team is so much better than years ago. Remember this in the 80s,
thing.
Ritu, and probably anybody who's listening, it was command and control because I said so. Whether it was bosses, parents, like it was, and they meant well. That's all that they knew. That's how they were raised. But you're going to do it because I said so. Command and control, command and control. And it never worked. It just built resentment.
Yes,
And
power
employees,
struggle and a power struggle.
yes, and employees didn't want to do their best if they were being talked to with such disrespect. But when you can, like I look at with my kids, we're like a team. I might be the captain as their mom, but we're a team.
We're
Yeah,
team.
yes, yes. And I
So,
have a whole team. I have my
and
business.
at work, especially for professionals. So whatever type of work you do, either you're a white collar, blue collar, or whatever collar, or whatever kind of job you do, it's
Right.
always a teamwork, right? Give the credit where it belongs. Acknowledge
Absolutely.
people.
Yeah.
Acknowledge people. That's just brings the trust back. The trust has, when you put trust in people and they put their trust into you, everyone grows. As win-win-win situation. They
Right.
are so tied together.
It's so true. I used to say, well, I still say when talking to corporations and stuff like that, it's me versus us. If you have the me mentality, me, myself and I do this, they don't do anything, me. It's never going to work. It's got to be about us, all of us
Yeah.
together, and that's what I teach them and coach them to use, like what you said about the we. That kind of language makes a huge difference. They won't have the same turnover that they would because people just want to get out of the environment of command and control and no respect because somebody wants to look better or look more powerful. And real good leaders lift their people up. They
Yes.
don't hold them down and try to keep them down to make themselves look important. And there's a lot of that goes on. Real good leaders lift their people up.
You have to bring those strategy into. So once the credit is given where it belongs, you trust your people in turn trust you, and that's where the integrity lies. That's
Yes.
where authenticity comes in, and everything starts falling into place.
And
Real.
then let's talk about this, because if integrity is not there and
Mhm.
authenticity isn't there, your reputation, for those of you listening that may not be living in integrity and authenticity, your reputation will be in the gutter. You can't have a great reputation if you're out of alignment, not in integrity and authentic. So, and reputation can take a lifetime to build up and 1 second to be destroyed, by making the wrong move with the wrong people or the wrong person, and there's ways of circumventing that also with apologies, genuine apology. There's different things that you could do to salvage your reputation. And another friend of mine, David Corbin, he's all about brand slaughter. He illuminates the negative, so that they can actually start to accentuate the positive. He illuminates the negative, and because he wants the brand to do really, really well. So if somebody can't face it, so he'll say follow it, and so you can face it, and then you can deal with it. But if you don't face it, you're never going to deal with it. right? So you don't want brand slaughter either.
You made a very interesting point. So we're living in a age of social media that in an instant news travels, good
Yeah,
or bad, or any kind in between, right? It travels instantly. So it's even more important for us to have that type of integrity and have that trust put in your team and align with each other. And it just makes so much sense, because then it becomes win win win. Why
absolutely.
wouldn't it be that way? And that's how I see it, right?
I agree 1,000%, 1,000%. And a lot of corporations now are investing in coaching for their employees. It's again, it's the best investment that they can make, because when you help them grow and you help them feel better about themselves and you're helping them increase their self-image, and
Yes.
with their it's the best investment in a company that a company can make, even more so than marketing, as sales and marketing, best investment. And anybody that I know that's had like very, very, very little turnover, if not zero, has always invested in the self-development, personal and professional self-development with their teams. So
The ROI is so much greater than any other um, advertisement that they would do.
absolutely. Okay, what role women play when it comes to leadership challenges for the century? Da, da,
Okay,
da, da, da,
this
da.
is this is a sort of has become a favorite topic. So, in the age of digitalization and a global village and stuff, so if we look at the economies of the world,
Right.
take any continent, mostly go for the major big nations and economies and stuff. Just even you want to take a look at those. Women are contributing almost 50% to the GDP of their nation.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
far as the population of the women goes, the working age women are working and contributing to the
Yeah.
economy, to the family's income, to the family's resources and the prosperity, right? Um, Women in the last century have worked extremely hard to get here where we are at this stage in the 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my book, Women Leadership in 21st Century, Raising and Creating Leaders, Conscious Leaders of Tomorrow, I looked at the 200 years of history of women's growth and throughout the world and different countries and cultures, etc. So, we as women played the roles from goddesses to slave and everything in between.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are still, even though we are contributing 50%, close to 50% uh, to the GDPs of our nations, we still have to prove ourselves at every stage. No matter what role we play, we have to continue proving ourselves. So,
Yeah.
post COVID era, where I saw most of us professional women, we experienced that a lot of senior leaders in corporate world who had exited workforce either by choice or choice of their own or without their choice found themselves in a very unique situation. And I had conversation during the book interviews with many accomplished women around the world. um, Many were choosing to go into their early retirements, and I saw that this is losing decades of fabulous experience that they had.
Right.
That's a
Right.
loss to the younger generation who need mentorship. That's where these ideas came to call to action for those senior accomplished women living accomplished women of our generation to come together, collaborate with men, and to pass the baton for a younger generation of leaders who
Yeah.
need that experience. And I want to say this loudly, in very clearly, the leadership strategies of the past, the golden rules of the past in the 1950s to 1980s, all those strategies that were developed perfectly worked at that stage. We in 2024 and beyond, we are facing very unique challenges.
Right.
The strategies of the past are not a good fit. Some may
Right.
to deal those challenges, and
Right.
the younger generation is left to deal with them if we go into our retirements and take away our fabulous experience that women have worked so hard for decades to create
Right.
that platform for younger women. And I want to say a message to younger women. So please acknowledge the role these women have played. So the younger generation of women today, the opportunities that they are standing on the strong shoulders of the giants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those trailblazer women have created the platform that you have inherited. So please acknowledge them, that the opportunities that you have now from here, you can only grow. And this growth has to come with collaboration, not with competition. So my call to women here is, for the 21st century, the role, especially the baby boomer generation of women can play, is collaborate with men, have those collaborative conversation, bring the harmony that our chaotic world needs today to pass the baton to younger generation.
I love it. Absolutely. And even back in the 70s, women had to go through here in America, women had to go through their husbands or the male in the family to have a bank account. In the 70s, they couldn't even have their own bank account. They had to
Imagine
do
other cultures.
I mean, like, what? But yeah, so look at how far we've come even there. Voting, the bank account, that to me, it's just mind-boggling.
Yes.
But now, because one of my friends from grammar school, she's my financial advisor also, and she was just asked to be an advisor on the Nasdaq. She's brilliant, and she said there's data that women are going to be financially in the forefront by 2030, which is not that far away. And
Yes.
there's more young women coming out of law school and medical school than men, than young men.
Mhm.
And I believe she's right because she is brilliant, and so she says she has the data that by 2030 will women will be financially in the forefront. And then if you look at the countries that were run by women, did really well with COVID,
Yes.
like
Yes.
really exceptionally well.
There were a lot of studies, there were a lot of reports, and I want to share something also here is that with the biases of the gender dynamics that women have to overcome with the generational mindset, we still have the power and charisma to be capable leaders in every industry. Women are in aerospace, women are in every
Yes.
industry right now, right?
Yes.
So we have that charisma to be strong voice in subtle ways.
I think women make mistakes in that they tried so hard to be like a man, like when they were in the leadership role. So many women would channel their male energy when we're so much more powerful when we're in our feminine energy. And I
Yes.
think some women need permission to stand in their feminine energy and understand that it's way more powerful than trying to behave like a man, and the results are much better because again it's authentic, it's in alignment with who you truly are, it's integrity and everything else. So let's give women permission to, it doesn't have to be the push, and the force and that male energy, the go get them, go get them, go,
It's
women
not
are
competition. It's not a competition with other gender.
no, but the genders, the
Collaborate.
two genders are different, right? So Women were built to do what men can't do, and men were built to do what women can't do. And then we complement each other. Yes, yes.
So I wanna just share that I write in this book is about power and persuasion. The power is not control.
Right.
Power reflects. I have so many fabulous stories that I talk about, and I have written what power and Shakti I talk about, that the different aspects of Shakti, etc. So it's interesting that we need to be, we talked about authenticity and integrity. We, as female leaders, um, we have to bring in that authenticity in the forefront ourselves. So my approach in this book is not a go-getter, but it is a holistic approach to leadership,
Yeah.
which by that I mean is that we don't need a um, high-ranking position or a political office to call ourselves leaders. Anyone stepping up to the plate when they call, when the time calls, you do what is needed is leadership. So
Yes.
coming back to that thought is the woman, what role women can play. I want to just wrap up that to that women right now, especially the baby boomer generations who have tremendous experiences, that they have started where women were breaking the glass ceilings, and they have gone through so many hurdles, and they have so wonderful experience, and they can channel that energy to mentor younger generation, and that brings in the leaders. Right now the younger generation doesn't see, their gender bias, I mean they're gender blind, I'm sorry, they're gender blind. So we don't need to see the segregation between male and female leaders. We need to create conscious leaders for tomorrow.
Right. Right. I agree 1,000%. And I have a couple of character building children's books, and I love going into the schools and doing the assemblies with the kids and teaching them the importance of what you and I talk about. Is honesty and accountability. Is They're futuristic. I made up a 10-year-old character and I put her on 6 different planets in one book, and each planet dealt with a different dominant character trait. But generosity and honesty and accountability and self-discipline and just so many, it's just gratitude, so many important things. And once these kids learn and understand the importance of it, bullying goes down, because they'll think twice before they say something negative when they realize like there's a consequence to that kind of behavior. And it's important. But I also want to do a lot more work with the youth, not just the girls but the boys and the girls,
We
because
need to include both. We
yeah,
can separate.
yeah.
And as I say in my book, and I am going to share here with an audience, is that we as women, the givers of life, the nurturers of life, we give birth to boys and girls, and they grow up to be men and women. We're part of the family unit. We're part of this society. We cannot be separated,
Right, of course not.
right? So
Yeah,
the collaboration in every form it can be is needed for peace, for prosperity, for unity, for the strength of the family, for the strength of your organization. However we want to define it, you cannot be in a competition uh,
right.
to win. You have to collaborate to win.
Absolutely. And people that are competing are not focused on creating. They're too busy looking sideways. And when somebody's in competition with somebody else, they might get ahead for a little while, but they always spin out and go sideways. And I'm not talking about sports competition. I'm talking about like competition in the workplace, competition in the home, competing with your friends, when you'll spin out and go sideways. But when I call, not just me, but a lot of people call that the competitive lane. And then there's the creative lane. Stay in your lane, right? Because all of everything that you need, the abundance, everybody's got abundance. You can tap into it, not just financial, but health, spirituality, relationships. There's an abundance in your lane as long as you don't encroach upon somebody else's lane. Leave them alone. Let them enjoy their lane, right? But like you said, collaborate, come together.
Yes.
Don't try to take it over and make the other person's lane more difficult. Like, just it's I love this competition. So yes, and you want people to be conscious creators.
And
So you got to stay in your lane.
those are the things that I talk about in self discovery to self mastery. Once you come to that, you don't feel threatened by somebody else.
Right. Right.
So you don't feel the competition because you have your own lane.
Exactly. And you're not going to be so sensitive, and people won't be able to trigger you as much if somebody's trying to compete with you or you're trying to compete with somebody else. Like, you lose all of that, like, it's in such a beautiful way. And then
Assertiveness. It just all comes like in a package deal
yeah,
in itself. So that's why, like earlier I said that it's a practice. Uh,
yes.
like you practice the skills, so mastering life is you're practicing to get there.
Yeah.
And once you've gotten there, you're unshakable.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Ritu and I have gone through not a lot, but we've gone through a few very, very, very difficult situations, and my listeners know that I had cancer, very rare. Most people did not live with the cancer I had, when I was 25 and 91 to 93 those were the treatments. And because I learned about all of this, I kept living. Every time they said I die, I say this all the time. I went on to have 3 kids that they swore would never happen. I made a list of my vision, right, of exactly everything, my goals that I wanted to achieve. I checked off every single one of them, and I continue to. Um, I ended up recently in 2022 with congestive heart failure. I didn't even know what was going on. I turned it around in a month. In a month, my doctor spoke on my stage. She was like, I've never seen it. And she's been doing it for decades. But once I knew what I was dealing with, I got rid of it, you know? So yeah, so we can, and I have 2 businesses plus, yeah, I have my life coaching businesses. I have patents. We actually got a patent approved, which is very exciting. Another more
Congratulations.
patents pending. I'm so excited,
Yes.
and so very lucrative, very, very lucrative. But it comes to me. Women are receivers, right? The clients come, the patents, came to me. My friend's an inventor and asked me to partner with him. Out of the blue, I got a call from Procter Gallagher that they wanted me to help them build it's Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher's company. And Bob, God rest his soul, passed away a couple of years ago. And they asked me to help them build out and lead their new corporate division, and these are just opportunities that just they come to you when you know how to do what Ritu and I are talking about. And I'm on fire, and I know, Ritu, you are also, to share this with the world. I don't want to transition to heaven and not have gotten like as many people as I can possibly tell this to. A lot of people hold their cards close to their vest, that not me and you, not you and I.
Yes.
No.
So other thing is that right now we talked about it, overload of information. Um,
Yeah.
it's really difficult for people who are trying to find their path to be mentored or find the right type of mentor and stuff. So it's not always that people don't have intentions to better themselves or their lives. It's just a finding how to,
Right.
and that how to may not be any easy for some. But I my 2 cents here would be that don't give up on yourself.
Right. Right. And when you work with a coach, we help you go from feeling stuck and overwhelmed and distracted, whether you're a leader in a company, C-suite, founder, owner, or the CEO of your family, we help you go from that to focused and fearless and excited about life and work. So that's what we do. And by doing that, everything just gets better and better and better, everything, including the net bottom line. So let's go to your gifts.
All right.
All right. So let me find your gifts. First of all, they can reach you at Women Leadership Book at
Yes.
gmail.com. Okay. And then I'll put that down there. And then let me find your, well, we have the Audible, which is not the free gift, but
The Audible is the Women Leadership book we just launched on Audible, and Spanish translation is underway. So I do not have an ETA on that, but
nice.
we're working on it. Yes,
And then you have your free chapter.
it's free chapter from this book. They can get a free chapter. Um,
Okay. And then your complimentary gift. Tell us
yes,
about that.
identify your self worth. I think this people would enjoy it. It's kind of a um, guide and some questions and answers. So you could repeat that as often as you like to. In it's very simple ways of just answering some questions to yourself. Is this authenticity uh, practice, right? So
Yeah.
you don't have to, like I said, don't give other people to chance any chance and opportunity to find any impediments in you, or point out your impediments, or you take an opportunity to assess yourself and be authentic. And it you may not like first time, you may have hard time acknowledging it, but is especially this one would be helpful for people who are not feeling very assertive or feel like that they don't feel very confident about themselves. So this identify your self-worth really helps.
That's powerful. Self-worth is everything, and so many people on the planet struggle with self-worth. Not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy, like just they struggle with these limiting beliefs that they took on as children and live it out for a lifetime. They don't like confrontation. They, like, and it doesn't have to be that way. It's like a self-imprisoned place, that you put your mind in, and you have that beautiful gift. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Erin.
incredible. Thank you so much. You've been a massive asset to the Life on Track TV series. And I'm
Appreciate
putting,
the opportunity.
of course, I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel also. So for everybody watching, when you see it on YouTube, hit subscribe. And I'm just starting to grow that now, which I'm excited about that too. And hit the bell, to follow us and all that kind of fun stuff. So, and I would love for you guys to reach out to me about the episode at erinlay.com, my website, and send me a message and let me know what your takeaways were, and things that made you go, wow, or things that make you go, or just really an aha moment, because Ritu, you're dropping a lot of golden nuggets, and it was a great conversation. I love these conversations, and I love the fact that Eric connected us through his mastermind as well, Eric Swanson. So thank you, Eric Swanson, for another amazing connection. All right, everybody, have a magnificent rest of your day, and always remember to live onward and upward. Love you.